Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate you being here. See if we work. It does. That's great. Thank you to the Whitley County Chamber of Commerce and Visitor Center for yet again hosting the yearly State of the City address. I also want to thank the Peabody Public Library for allowing us to use this great space and the sponsors of this event for making the event possible. Council members, business people, department heads, citizens, and friends, I'm happy to once again provide the State of the City address for the City of Columbia City. This speech is a way in which your local government can communicate the accomplishments and progress of our city while outlining the goals and aspirations for our future. It is truly an honor to provide this update as your mayor. Before we talk about what is upcoming this year, I want to recap 2023. To say that last year was a challenge for the city is a huge understatement. I thought it'd be best to be forthright and honest about how last year went for me and our organization. So as you are all aware, almost 1 year ago, almost today, a 20-year department head was found to be embezzling money from the city. As soon as it was discovered, the clerk treasurer and I brought it straight to the Indiana State Police and the Indiana State Board of Accounts, asking for investigations to occur by both organizations. Since that time, both agencies have released their findings, and thankfully no one else in the organization was found to be involved. The State Board of Accounts report is available at their website in case anybody would like to see the information for themselves. Now, certainly we continue to advocate for justice on behalf of our citizens and look forward to a resolution of this case by the Whitley County court system. While I will reserve my personal feelings and thoughts on that situation for another day and time, residents can be assured that since this incident, the city has put additional checks and balances in place to ensure that these types of activities don't happen again. As you can imagine, we're all ready to move on from this difficult event. Last year was also a rough year regarding projects and pricing, as multiple projects were shelved or delayed due to skyrocketing market prices and material shortages. I mentioned in last year's State of the City address the numerous increases in materials and supplies that the city experienced, from asphalt and concrete to water pumps and electric meters. I also mentioned that the lead times of many of these products were extraordinary. While prices are still higher than pre-pandemic levels and lead times are still longer than expected, we are starting to see a slight softening in the materials market. Now, nevertheless, pre-pandemic pricing is gone, and the new reality of our economy is that everything is costing more for the average consumer, company, and yes, even your local government. Providing the best service for the lowest cost continue to be our mission, yet these price increases continue to put downward pressure on cash reserves. Further, major infrastructure projects continue to be necessary for the continued upkeep of our utility systems. 2 years ago, in this speech, I laid out the reasoning and rationale behind a yearly evaluation of utility costs by the Common Council because it allows us to react in a much more gradual manner rather than past precedent, which was waiting until the last moment and then a huge rate increase would happen. No one likes utility rate increases, but this smaller, more measured approach is not only easier on the consumer, but also helps our utilities plan for future projects. Now, one less than positive note. Last year was a contract year for our trash contract. And just like with utilities, our trash contract prices were increased with the new contract. So earlier this year, we slightly adjusted our trash fees to accommodate their increase. However, I should note that compared to similar sized cities, our trash rate is still in the lower half of rates across cities our size. So now that I've outlined how fantastic and wonderful, sarcastically, 2023 was, let me transition to what's on tap for this year ahead and why this year is going to be significantly more exciting and enjoyable. In February, we awarded a couple major bids that will jumpstart our construction season and move some major projects forward. Eagle Park Phase 1 was a project that was shelved for a year due to project bids coming in significantly over the engineer's estimate. I'm happy to say that in February, after some changes to the bid package, the Park Board awarded the first phase of Eagle Park to Schenkel Construction, and we should see dirt moving in the next month or two. The first phase of Eagle Park's construction will include 4 new pickleball courts, a new skate park, a creative family swing, that's over there, which I'm super excited about, and asphalt improvements. This project was supported by a Department of Natural Resources Land and Water Conservation Grant, Economic Development Income Tax dollars, and our newest revenue source for Eagle Park, the citywide food and beverage tax. I'm thankful for the Indiana General Assembly's support, the fortitude of our Common Council, and the restaurateurs across the city who were supportive of this new tax. Now, as I mentioned last year, the food and beverage tax is a consumption tax that equals 1 cent on every dollar spent for food at our local restaurants and food trucks. The tax is not on groceries, but rather on prepared food, meaning served with a napkin, a cup, or utensil. Every dollar collected by this tax will go directly into the construction of Eagle Park, which will drive additional visitors to our restaurants and our shops and our businesses. I'm thankful for the support of the Whitley County Chamber of Commerce and Visitor Center, Columbia City Connect, and so many others who see the vision and the need to invest in our future. The other major project awarded in February was Phase 2 of the Westgate Subdivision Reconstruction Project. You may remember back in 2022, we took 1/3 of the Westgate subdivision and completely remade its infrastructure with new sidewalks, storm drainage, streets, and curbs. This year, we'll be doing the same thing for the Buddale Drive and Lawrence Street areas. This project is funded in part by a $1 million grant from the Community Crossings Matching Grant Program from the Indiana Department of Transportation and is expected to be completed by mid-fall. The third and final phase of the Westgate project is scheduled to be in 2026. Now, as a reminder, Westgate was brought into the city in the mid-1990s, but outside of some water and sewer infrastructure, really wasn't given the full city treatment. These residents have been paying taxes to the city for 30 years, and it's time we ensure that they have the same infrastructure that the rest of the city has. One more major project is quickly coming up for bid this year, which is the Blue River Trail extension from Main Street to Vine Street, then Line Street to the new CCHS property. This project has literally been at least 5 years in the making and crosses what I like to call the unholy triumvirate, which is the railroad, state highway, and the Blue River. Now, as you can imagine, each of these elements create a difficulty by themselves, but matched together provide a high hurdle to clear. Yet, I appreciate the continued effort by our community development director and our engineering firm, Engineering Resources, as this project finally ramps up into high gear. We anticipate this project will be let out for bid in the next probably month or two, and if everything goes to plan, and I say this on tippy toes, we anticipate construction beginning this summer and completion to occur before the end of 2025. This project is critical to connect the CCHS, ISMS, and Little Turtle Elementary School campus to our trail system, providing a safer way for students and community members to get to these schools without walking down State Road 9. How many of you have seen kids walking down State Road 9 in the morning? Probably not a great idea, right? The project is supported by a $1.8 million Next Level Trails grant from the Indiana Department of Natural Resources, as well as dollars from the DECO Foundation, the Community Foundation of Whitley County, and PDQ Work Holdings. Multiple utility projects are occurring this year throughout the city and even in the county. The wastewater department is preparing to replace the current force mains that run from the East Jefferson Street and the South Main Street lift stations. The $1.7 million project replaces 65-year-old lines, increases flow capacity, and reroutes the lines that currently run underneath the Mary Raver Playground. You could see why that could be a problem at some point. We're also making miscellaneous improvements at the Water Pollution Control Facility to improve our system, update our facilities, and ensure a long lifespan for our equipment. Now, currently, we are also partnering with the County Redevelopment Commission to extend city sewers along 100 South from 300 East to the west in order to allow for new business and industry to locate within their TIF district. The cost of this project will be split evenly between the two parties and is a continuation of a decades-long partnership between the city and the County Redevelopment Commission. The electric department recently finished a 69 kV conversion project that brings better, stronger, more reliable power to our customers. The project cost the department over $1 million in upgrades and was necessitated by an upgrade by AEP on their transmission lines. This upgrade will allow the city to provide more power to customers into the future as our city continues to grow. The electric department is also currently working to replace poles and move our wires underground in numerous areas of the city's electric utility. In the city water and stormwater department, our staff has been hard at work on numerous projects already this year. First, they're finishing up the project on South Chauncey Street near Ellsworth and Spencer Streets that will eliminate a sewer smell that was coming up from the stormwater catch basins. I'm pretty confident the neighbors will be thrilled once this project is completed. It also provides benefits to the wastewater utility as more stormwater will be diverted to the Blue River rather than going into the wastewater treatment plant for processing. The department will then transition over to Eagle Park, where new stormwater piping and drainage improvements will be made in preparation of the first phase of Eagle Park. They'll also participate in the Westgate project where needed to move water lines and fire hydrants and other infrastructure. They've been troopers this year in handling all that's come their way, and I appreciate their efforts. Other projects include installing water main to the newly annexed areas of 200 East and replacing the media in the filters at the water plant. The street sewer department projects are planned for this year include installing new sidewalks on South Chauncey, installing ADA accessible sidewalk ramps at Westgate, televising sewer mains, managing street maintenance, providing limb and leaf pickup, trimming alleys, digging graves, sweeping streets, and a whole host of other miscellaneous tasks that keep them busy year-round. They really are kind of the utility players of the city, doing a whole host of jobs and responsibilities to keep our community in good shape. Now, regarding roads, I did want to make a note about the US 30 Planning and Environmental Linkage Study that is being completed by the Indiana Department of Transportation. A Pell study is unique to INDOT in that it takes into account a lot of public input throughout the whole entire process. They're currently working on the Level 2 assessment of the study, which will start to really put different types of intersections onto maps throughout the US 30 corridor, which will help then determining a couple of alternative plans for the current US 30 setup into the future. Now, once this assessment is completed, this Level 2 assessment, I want to strongly encourage residents to give their feedback on the maps that the planning firm and INDOT are going to be producing. Residents can sign up for alerts on the Pell study by going to propelus30.com. And I remain steadfast, as you all are probably very well aware, I remain steadfast in my belief that US 30 needs to be upgraded into a freeway for the safety of residents, economic development of the city, and mobility of all involved. You can rest assured that we have consistent and steady dialogue with INDOT on this topic and are always advocating on behalf of our citizens and businesses. In human resources, we have continued to invest in the health of our employees and again received awards and accolades for our wellness program. Last year, we received the Most Strategic Initiative Award, while in the past have won Most Employee Engagement and other gold and platinum awards. We also instituted the Marshall Wellness Clinic, which is an employee clinic that is in partnership with our friends at Whitley County Consolidated Schools. This year, our Wellness Committee and Safety Committee will continue to focus on ways to reduce workplace injury, elevate employee wellness, and make Columbia City an employer of choice that attracts and retains the best talent. Now, one challenge, however, that we're facing as your city government is the continued changes to the CDL, or Commercial Driver's License program. The federal government continues to try and standardize the CDL program no matter the usage of the license. While we're all for safety, as we always have been, this standardization puts our water and our wastewater, our electric and our street and many other employees at the same standard as long haul and heavy haul trucking companies driving across the United States. You may be asking, why do I care? Why does this matter to me? Well, the main reason is that the price of the CDL training and to obtain the license has increased over tenfold, which increases the amount of tax dollars that are leaving the city and going to feed the federal bureaucracy. So I urge our senators and our congressmen to rein in the Department of Transportation and provide carve-outs for civil servants and municipalities. Employees should be able to drive our equipment without having to jump through all the hoops and mandates of a long-haul truck driver. In public safety, by the way, I love the middle picture. That's one of my favorite ones. Anyways, we continue to put an emphasis on training to ensure our staff are the best trained and prepared police officers, firefighters, and dispatchers possible. In the police department, we continue working to get up to full staff. This has been a years-long process, which is not made any easier when looking at wage ranges in Fort Wayne or at the Indiana State Police. Yet, we continue to draw high-quality applicants and attract individuals from other departments. Last year, the CCPD replaced our old shotguns, replaced our fixed sight duty handguns, and revamped our detective division to better handle drugs and other cases. On the fire side, we replaced our multi-gas meters, hired 2 new firefighters, and replaced the station bay floors in 2023. We also participate in discussions that continue into the current year on a potential fire territory. Columbia, Jefferson, and Washington townships, along with the city, are investigating ways to provide better fire service to the residents of our areas. Now, more to come on this concept in the future, but as I mentioned last year, the need to improve our firefighting capabilities is crucial to the safety and well-being of our citizens. Volunteerism continues to become more and more scarce in the fire service, and we must continue to offset this decline with full-time firefighters that ensure a minimum staffing for responsiveness and saving lives. We also recently took bids for a new fire truck. Now, as I mentioned earlier in this speech, prices are up significantly on just about everything that the city purchases, and fire trucks are, as you can guess, no different. The bid for our new fire engine came in at over $1 million, doesn't include equipping the truck, and has a lead time of 600 days. So, we anticipate taking possession of this truck sometime in 2026. Financing options are being considered, but as you can guess, this vehicle, like all of our other fire vehicles, is critical to the fire safety of our city. Now, our dispatchers continue to show that they're at the top of their class through customer service and training and efficiency of service. This year, we'll be implementing fire response dispatching plans, replacing outdated equipment, and expanding community notifications through the RAVE system. Now, if you haven't heard yet about RAVE, let me clue you in on this great new offering that the city has to offer. For years, I've heard from the public that they rarely know what's going on in the city because they don't have Facebook. I can understand that concern. And we finally found a way to try and address it. Earlier this year, we rolled out a text, email, and phone alert system called RAVE Notifications. Through RAVE, residents and visitors can sign up to receive direct notifications from their city government regarding street closures, emergency situations, utility bills, softball and baseball practices, the aquatic center capacity. How many of you, hopefully not many, have gone to the aquatic center and it's at capacity? A lot of upset kids there, I'll tell you. Upcoming public meetings, lunch with the mayor programs, and many other choices. The program allows the customer to decide what alerts they want, on what topics, and which way they want them delivered. Further, if the individual decides they want to change or adjust alerts, it literally is just a couple clicks. So if you haven't signed up yet, I want you to take out your phones, click on the camera button, zone into that QR code, and get online with the RAVE notification system. It's a great new offering that puts information in your hands quickly and effectively. Now, moving into the information technology department, we continue working to fortify our fiber network, ensuring security for our citizens' personal data, and providing top-of-the-line communications throughout our city buildings. Everyone get that QR code before I switch? We installed free public Wi-Fi throughout the downtown area, at Morses Park, and at the Russell and Evelyn Fall Aquatic Center. This new amenity provides improved connectivity, invites visitors and residents to enjoy our amenities, and gives those outside the city a place to come and do e-learning, work, or messaging with friends. We anticipate expanding this service to every kid's dreamland and to the totality of Eagle Park within the next year. And speaking of our Parks Department, after a tumultuous couple of months, our staff really rebounded and continued to provide great services to our citizens. New pads, logs, and other smaller enhancements were added to the Aquatic Center. They repainted the inside of the pavilion at Morses Park and rebuilt the overlook at the pond. However, the biggest change at the Parks Department was the change in offices. Thanks to a generous donation by the Community Foundation of Whitley County, we were able to move our Parks Department offices from Morses Park over to the former Foundation offices on Whitley Street. Besides a nicer setup, and certainly more space, the office is conveniently located right in front of the Aquatic Center and right next to Eagle Park. With further and future construction and the addition of amenities, this is a perfect location to accommodate the growth within our park system. For 2024, besides the construction of Eagle Park Phase 1, we'll be replacing some equipment, renovating the former CCHS locker rooms at Eagle Park, and bringing additional programming to our Parks Department. In community development, we partnered with the Retail Coach to attract additional retail and restaurants to our community. After they completed the data analysis phase of their work, they noted to us, quote, "Based on the data, Columbia City is a hidden gem that should be an easy sell to restaurants looking to expand," end quote. And we've already had some really good connections and conversations that were established, and I anticipate that we'll start seeing some movement within the next year. Now, I want to make sure it's clear, the goal of this partnership, of course, is to diversify our business ecosystem while being cognizant not to attract restaurants or businesses, for that sake, that will draw away from local businesses. Also in 2023, we completed the Downtown Revitalization Plan, thanks to the hard work of many community members, some of you in here, and the team from HWC Engineering. The plan lays out the need for a revitalized downtown, areas to celebrate life together, and improvements to the infrastructure in our city's core. Many residents of all ages, businesses, and stakeholder groups gave input into what they wanted to see in our downtown area. I'd encourage you to check out the plan at columbiacity.net. I'm anticipating a major downtown project to occur probably sometime within the next 4 to 5 years. Now this year, we're working on the voluntary annexation of the Connie Dye property on 200 East, and look forward to the development that could bring as many as 300 new homes to our community. Now, as you're well aware, the housing market is very tight for 3 reasons. First, interest rates have increased and up to this point really don't show a ton of signs of declining significantly into the future. Second, the lack of available homes in our city due to the growing population continues to put a strain on the pocketbooks of potential homeowners. And third, the cost of materials, are you picking up a trend in this speech? Continues to drive home prices higher and higher. Now, as an example, the median home value in Columbia City in January of 2020 was somewhere around $175,000. Today, the median home value is up to around $265,000. That price is literally above every city around us, including Fort Wayne. This data comes from Rocket Homes and Zillow. Now, if this doesn't show you the true need for a wider and more diverse housing stock, I'm not sure what would. We need more apartments and single-family homes and senior apartments and affordable housing and, yes, even more high-end homes. A well-balanced community, which we strive to be, needs to be an all-of-the-above approach on the housing market. Now, we believe the new development on 200 East, as well as additional developments that are in the works, will help grow our housing market, help balance off the average home value, and ultimately help the property tax assessments that continue to incline across Columbia City and Whitley County. Now, under that community development umbrella are multiple city boards and commissions that are doing great work on behalf of our citizens and businesses. The Arts Commission began their inaugural year by completing multiple projects that enhance the beauty and uniqueness of Columbia City. From downtown murals and painted sidewalks to art crawls and musical performances, the Columbia City Arts Commission accomplished a lot in a very short period of time. I'm excited to see the multiple upcoming projects that they'll be offering the city again this year. By the way, how can you not love Thomas R. Marshall made out of vegetables? Seriously. The Housing Authority used most of 2023 to renovate the home at 301 East Van Buren Street. This is the second home remodel project by the CCHA. This was a significant investment of time and energy, but the home is now beautiful and awaiting new owners. As you may know, the goal of the Housing Authority is to improve the housing stock in Columbia City. They have multiple programs, from the owner-occupied rehab program to the residential facade program, to help residents invest in their properties while also beautifying the city. The Redevelopment Commission continues work on the former LML/Cardinal Grain property on South Chauncey Street. Some of you may also know it's from South Line Street. The property, which was extremely contaminated, has been working through a remediation plan, and we believe the light is finally at the end of the tunnel. Funding of the project was not by tax dollars, but instead from insurance proceeds from an insurance recovery program. Future development of the property is being considered, but I want to congratulate and thank the City Redevelopment Commission members on their steadfast support of turning one of the most blighted properties in the city into a clean and developable property. The RDC is also continuing to provide facade grants to downtown businesses, as well as work toward beautification of the entryway into the city on South State Road 9. The tree board continues to work on improving the street tree inventory as well as maintaining our Tree City USA status. Now, I'm proud to say that this past month, Columbia City was honored for being a Tree City USA for 30 years. This demonstrates our commitment to maintaining our urban forest. Our Plan Commission and BZA, or Board of Zoning Appeals, continues work on ensuring new developments are safe and beneficial and fit appropriately where they belong. In 2023, the city experienced over $55 million in estimated construction value, with 30 single-family home permits and 5 commercial buildings, as well as a variety of other construction activity. Now, it should be noted, however, that if after you consider the $35 million of value that was the county's jail project, which took place in the city limits, so it's counted, the $20 million figure that's left ends up being a normal year on par with the previous past 3 years. Now, compared to a decade ago, however, we're over double the amount of construction value that was present in 2013. Overall, we continue to be growing at a measured but consistent pace. Now, before I leave this part of the speech, I wanted to mention one other project that will be occurring this year in the city, which is Summer in the City, which we will be continuing this program from last year, thanks to the hard work and effort of my assistant, Ashley Buckles. The program will again include a dive-in movie at the Aquatic Center, a scavenger hunt around the city, a Taste of CC event that's going to be expanded this year, as well as other miscellaneous events that will bring families together and help residents enjoy summer in our community. So, your city government had a rough 2023, no doubt. Yet we continue to grow our population, our businesses, and the influence we have throughout Northeast Indiana. We are truly a leader in our region, and I get calls almost weekly from other mayors asking how we did this or how did you get residents to support that. My answer is always the same. Our community wants to be better today than it was yesterday. That's why we've been able to do big, bold things together, like build an aquatic center and expand our trails and invest in our downtown and become the second fastest growing city in Northeast Indiana, attract a higher percentage of millennial population than other cities our size, and rank as one of the best suburbs in America. Yet, you all know me well enough to know that we don't rest on past successes. We aspire to be a brighter tomorrow. So, I could think of no greater adjective than that. The state of our city is aspiring. We aspire to greatness. We aspire to accomplish big goals, arm in arm. We aspire to build a community together. From businesses to nonprofits and from our residents to even our visitors, this community has shown time and again that we aspire to be better today than we were yesterday and better tomorrow than we are today. Businesses aspire to grow their clientele and create a more attractive building. Nonprofits aspire to serve the greater good and a wider audience to truly address the needs of our citizens. Residents aspire for nicer properties, better jobs, and a safer environment to raise a family. And your city government aspires to provide the best service at the lowest price while making life better for everyone. Make no mistake, my friends, if we continue to invest in ourselves, better jobs, more restaurants, more shops, and a growing community is what we can expect. Time and again, Columbia City has proverbially punched above our weight class, beating our neighbors and beating our neighboring cities in category after category after category. Now, what's our secret sauce, one might ask? It is its people. It's the Jackson Longenballs of our community who started the Piggy Bank Pals program as a kid that helps kids with health challenges. It's the Sean Ellises who see fellow residents struggling with addiction and says, I'm going to step up and serve. It's the Gary Birds who see veterans' gravestones falling into disrepair and decides to gather people to restore honor and respect back to their final resting place. It's the Heart of Gold Award winners who invest in their neighbors, and it's the camaraderie that's shown between citizens at every First Friday event. The list could go on, but the point is that our community is special. Our community is blessed. And our community is strong because of its people. That's why we're aspiring to greatness. We aren't accepting of past precedents or the same old, same old. We don't believe that good enough is good enough anymore. We've shown time and again that we can accomplish big, sometimes scary goals together. And I'm excited for the future of our community and the direction we're heading. Sure, challenges are still on the horizon, and storm clouds are sometime out there, but I have faith and confidence that the projects that we're building now will provide tremendous quality of life benefits for current and future generations. The state of our city is aspiring, and I hope you will join me as we shoot for greatness and continue leading our city into a very bright and prosperous future. Thank you. May God bless you.